free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Egypt is a country that signifies the bondage of people whose freedom beckons to them by the means of God's provision. Slavery may have been greatly curbed in modern times, but the parallels of Egyptian lordship over people with great potential is well alive today in the spiritual sense of freedom. Many people do not desire the freedom God offers because they are scared of the unknown and would rather stick with their existing circumstances. Others are worried about their survival and safety and the well-being of their loved ones when faced with the possibility of godly freedom. These fears are real, but God already knows these things, and as the good shepherd would not lead us to where there will be no pasture. So long we are committed to the purifying process for us and our loved ones, God would be with us through times of abundance and lack, and He will take care of us. The land of Canaan in Bible times, the land flowing with milk and honey, given to Israel at the end of their Egyptian exodus, is God's promise to give us heaven at the end of life's pilgrimage. There is a lot of applicable lessons from the Israeli experience for those seeking true freedom. Like Israel, on our way to freedom, we will be challenged and even harassed by life's trials and temptations. We would have to resist the allure of retreating to Egypt or settling for less than the pursuit of godly freedom. Sometimes we might suffer life's violent storms, and we need to move on with determination and force. And if we will trust in God's saving power throughout our pilgrimage here, we need not perish on the way. There will be many times when we feel like returning to Egypt, as did Israel, but as long as we march forward in faith, God will always be there for us each step of the way. Like Caleb and Joshua, we must so desire the experience of godly freedom that no obstacle in our path will be too mighty. The island of Patmos is a small Greek island located in the Aegean Sea, southwestern coast of Turkey. Known today for its historical and religious significance, this was the place where the book of Revelation was written by the Apostle John. Emperor Nero had initiated a brutal campaign of persecution against Christians, many of whom were martyred for their faith, including Jesus' disciples. Yet the Apostle John would not recount his belief that Jesus Christ truly came from heaven to save humanity from the penalty of sin. He and many others had witnessed unequivocal proofs, the greatest of these being the resurrection of Jesus Christ and others with him. This was seen by many, Matthew 27:50-53. While we live a life of godly freedom and have a godly purpose yet to fulfill, we are free from death because God protects our lives. Our Patmos may be a time of our lives where all we have is God, but that will be enough for us because God will be all in all to us and He will provide. The United States of America is a country synonymous with freedom, so much so it earned the title Land of Freedom. This view of the United States of America is steeped in its religious and political history because of its commitment to individual liberty and democracy. The civil rights movement of the 20th century was a test of that commitment, leading to the 13th Amendment. Today, the challenge is with LGBTQ+ rights, gun control, healthcare, and immigration, to name a few. While the government may guarantee certain liberties, the scope of their liberty is external. In a spiritual sense of things, while guaranteeing some liberties, the government may further the enslavement of persons who desire to be free to practice habits that harm them and others. Yes, freedom of conscience must be guaranteed, as no human being should be forced by others. However, it is important to emphasize the consequences of our choices, whether on an individual or state level. It is this understanding that is the reason for civil laws and justice. While men's laws and justice might be partial and flawed, God's laws in the judgment of this world shall not. Africa, generally in the West, is considered a barbaric place for different reasons, ranging from poverty to tribal wars, illiteracy, and inadequate social amenities. However, from the 15th century to the mid-19th century, it was not Africa but the West that displayed unrivaled levels of barbarism, never mind our affluence, economic, and educational advantages at the time. Barbarism is a disease of the mind, not merely a reflection of one's environment. Thousands of years ago, the Jewish prophet Jeremiah penned these words under the inspiration of God. The heart of man is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Jeremiah 17 verse 9. Though no human can know it, God knows it, and only He can provide a way out. God has made the worst of men become the best of men in every time and dispensation, in Africa and across the world, and still does today if we will seek Him with all our heart.
Here I stand. I can do no other. God help me.